How powerful is our YZ500? Well, today we're going to find out. But before we reveal what numbers the Yzilla is putting out, let me remind you of how we created this beast. We took a standard YZ250 and transformed it into a 500cc two-stroke monster using the awesome new BRC Racing YZM500 conversion kit. We've already had one of the world's best big bore riders take it for the ride of its life, but I haven't yet filled you guys in on how we turned our YZ500 into the Yzilla. Okay, so as you can see behind me, we have our YZM500. It's a living, breathing machine, but today it's time to turn this, what looks like to the untrained eye, your regular old YZ250, it's time to turn this into the Yzilla. That's today's mission. So stage one of the process today is to fit a new plastic kit, and we got some friends over at Service and they've thrown us over a fresh set of plastics to give the Yzilla its own unique look. So when I told my friends at Yamaha UK what we were doing with this project, they were actually pretty excited and offered to send us some parts to help with the build. And one of those parts they sent was this GYTR high pressure rad cap. Now this allows for more pressure to build up before the release, meaning that your bike stays a bit cooler, the rads are a bit more efficient. So we're going to chuck this on there now. As you can see, the bike is looking a bit different. So the next stage of the process is to stick her up with some fresh graphics. And now Lee Rudd from LR Designs has done these graphics for us. And that's really cool because Lee Rudd, his dad Terry Rudd, big parts of the, big members of the local motocross community that support the local motocross community for years. So I'm pretty pumped to get Lee from LR Designs to do the graphics for the Yzilla. So we're going to get them on now. In terms of design and design inspirations, I think you'll see what we've done here, but we've been inspired by the original YZM from back in the day. As you guys might know, I've chosen to partner with Wulfsport on this project. They are a great British motocross gear brand, and yes, they do ship internationally. They are always giving back to the sport, and without their support, the Yzilla project wouldn't have been possible. So to say thanks to them, we've put them front and centre right on the number board. So Roland, who you've already seen helping us fit the engine in the bike, he's actually the importer of Hahn wheels, and he's hooked us up with these fresh set of wheels here. Obviously we're in gold and chrome, harking back to the glory days of the YZM500. So that's the idea behind these, so let's get them fitted, let's get started. Okay, so now that we've got some rubber on the wheels, it's time for the next stage of the process. Luckily, our friend Rolf from Motormaster has hooked us up with some bits, so we've got a big brake disc and a sprocket. We're going to chuck those on now. How good does that look? So next up, to just finish off the job, I think the seat really just makes it pop. But the last thing is to fit our new Hahn wheels, and they are going to look sick on that bike now. So that's the next job. Fit these wheels up, and then just about done. Looks good, right? We are pumped right now. So the last thing that we need to do today is fit some folding levers. We got some GYTR ones straight from Yamaha, genuine stuff. They're kind of aftermarket, top of the range stuff. Yamaha UK sent us these, so I'm going to whack those on, and that will do us for today. But we are pumped right now. The dyno runs are coming up next, but before we find out what crazy number the Yzilla is throwing out, let's just take a moment to stare at her and bask in her beauty. And believe it or not, she's about to get even more good looking as we await the arrival of a very special cone pipe that should give us even more performance on the dyno. So you guys know that Wulfsport have supported this project and helped make the Yzilla possible. We've collaborated with Wulfsport to make this t-shirt. It's very limited, so check out the link in the description down below if you want to join the Yzilla family and support the project. Like I said guys, these shirts really are limited, so be quick about it. The more we can show love and support to the companies that support the channel means that the projects that we can all work on in the future will only get bigger and better. Oh yeah, And be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, if you want to find out what I was doing standing in a field with both the YZ500 and a 700cc monster 2-stroke. After our Megalodon 700 project last year, I had some slight PTSD about starting big bore 2-strokes on this dyno. It was a real pain last time, so let's hope that today goes a little smoother. First try, baby! So as a reminder, at the start of this project, we did do a dyno run with our stock YZ250, and that bike put out 41 horsepower on Roland's dyno. It's worth noting that every dyno is calibrated a little differently, and Roland's setup generally tends to throw out numbers that are about 5 to 6 horsepower below other dyno setups. But at the end of the day, it's all relative, and what we are really looking at are the gains and comparisons that we see on the day on the same dyno under the same conditions. But just as a base, we had 41 HP to beat.
So we've got as a top number 52 horsepower. Okay, so first test is done. So this is as we're finding works well on the track as far as jetting. So power delivery, spark plug colour, general feel and experience from myself. Yes, I'm finding we get a little bit of heat with this engine, which we're hopefully going to deal with today. It's not bad, but I like them to run a little bit cooler than this. But anyway, our first dyno test that we've just done, we've got a cool run and a hot run. The main characteristics of it is that I'm finding that we have a dip in our power band in the middle part of the rev range, and I think that is to do with a little bit of fine tuning of the way the power valve's opening. I don't think that's a ignition or fueling or jetting issue or a pipe or anything. I think that is just that the power valve is opening a little bit later than we want it to do. So we're going to have a little bit of a workout with that now. And then I'll start mucking around with ignition and see where we end up.
So like Roland said, he had a play around with the ignition, and we did do a few runs and experiments trying to alleviate the dip in the power curve that Roland expected was caused by the power valve timing. But after talking with Riley from BRC and doing our own tests, we concluded that because the BRC motor uses a diaphragm power valve and not a mechanical power valve, this hole in the power we see on the dyno wouldn't actually exist in the real world on track, as was proven when Nev rode the bike. But that's not the end of the testing. Our experiments are about to continue with the delivery of a very special cone pipe. But first, let's hear what Roland had to say after the last couple of runs.
I've just done a couple of little runs here on with some different ignition curves and then backed onto the original ignition. It's getting pretty warm and smelly in here now, so it's not the best quality for dyno testing anymore. I've got to tidy it up at low RPM. Change the power valve spring, and already we're seeing quite a good increase with the dyno. It'd be interesting to try it with the different ignition on the dyno, with the other pipe that we've got coming and other bits and pieces. I'm fairly confident we're going to start to see some quite sexy high numbers, but I think for me what I want to really focus on is the bottom and mid-range and getting a good linear curve rather than what we have at the moment. So I'm hoping with the other power valve spring that is available for this engine with the other pipe and with a little bit more ignition mapping, we should get it where we need to be.
Okay, so we're back in the workshop for another day on the dyno because we've had a special delivery from Canada. So I'm going to open up this box and show you what we've got. Right, so here we go. The Huger cone pipe, made especially for the YZ500 kit from BRC. Look how trick that is. Huger Performance, another Canadian company, made this especially for the YZ500 kit. We're going to fit this bad boy to the Yzilla today, get it back on the dyno, see what performance gains we get from this piece of art right here.
Like I said earlier, every day is different in the dyno room, with varying air conditions and temperatures. So we did another base run with the FMF setup before we fitted the Huger pipe.
Okay, so as you can see, we've got the Huger pipe on the bike and it looks so trick. There are a couple of performance advantages to this pipe. We're looking for peak horsepower numbers on the dyno today, and this is what this pipe offers. The pipe that came with the bike, that offers a broader power, more off the bottom and more over rev, but today we're hunting those big horsepower numbers. So we've got the Huger pipe on it and we're going to get rolling now.
So what gains did the Huger cone pipe give us? Let's find out.
Okay, we're quite a lot hotter in here now, having done sort of all kinds of different load cell settings and runs. So as you can see, we've gone from run 14 actually up to run 20, but I'm happy that run 19 is a good reflection of on-track temperature. And it's producing, so we've gone up from 50.5, or it's actually showing 51.53, but that's quite a way into the over rev. But the peak horsepower has gone up quite nicely, but the real gain, it's a little bit less off the very bottom, but as soon as you hit the mid-range, the power difference is quite massive. This bike will feel quite different to ride, in that it does, the mid-range will be huge, the peak is good, but the shape of, against the FMF, the shape of the way it goes into the over rev, you'd think it was nice and flexible and have plenty of rev. Now we've got a bike that's going to be really strong. You're probably going to knock 2 or 3 teeth off the back sprocket and hold on tight for a fast ride, whereas the other one, because it was much more flexible, in that it would rev out, and the shape that it, you know, it's a weird thing to say, but a shape also reflects a feel. So the engine's going to be quite smooth and want to go into the over rev. This, even though it only revs slightly less, will almost feel like it's hitting a brick wall as it goes into the over rev. So it will feel very different to ride, but extremely strong off the bottom. We've obviously reflected on saying that we've got sort of 4 odd horsepower more on top, but what we've actually gained in the middle, if I bring it round to this sort of figure area here, we've gone from 21 horsepower to 35 horsepower. So, you know, we've gained 14 horsepower in the what would be the lower to mid RPM of this engine. So when she comes on, she's going to come on with the actual delivery up to that point looks quite a nice shape and will probably ride okay. I would love to see a back-to-back test on the track of these two pipes, because they are completely different animals. Yeah, Sean or Nev's the man for the job, but both of them, it'd be really interesting to get them both there at a track one day and just get Nev, who's a bit of a man for, you know, and Sean, who's not used to riding these, and get to see how they both feel, because these, the numbers are quite different, but the shapes are different, and they're going to reflect a completely different ride on track. So it will be really interesting. When I put the CDI on before, we gained quite a bit with the CDI on the FMF pipe. On this pipe at the moment, the maps I put on the FMF, they're still showing a small increase everywhere, but not as we saw before. So we've got a little bit more work to do there, and you know, we're going to get some more ponies yet, but it's looking good so far. And I like the look of this pipe, but we'll see when it comes to on track as to how the boys actually get on to ride with it.
Okay, so there we have it. We've got 2 runs on the dyno done with the Huger pipe and the FMF pipe, which we did the other day. And as you can see, we've got some wild results there. The Huger pipe is going to be for your pro riders with that hard hit, hold on and hope kind of riding. The FMF pipe might be more friendly for someone like me, someone like Sean, someone who's a little less experienced on the 500, but maybe might be good in the woods or trail riding, something like that. But that's the results on a dyno. So like Roland said, we do need to do the back-to-back tests on the track. So give us a shout if you want to see that happen. Let us know in the comments down below.
As always with these special builds, there's so much fine-tuning and testing to do, and we do have a goal to reach for. Just look at these graphs from Riley's dyno at the BRC HQ. He's getting 70 horsepower from this setup, so that's what we are shooting for here as well. But it's safe to say that we are all more than pumped with our dyno results and gains so far. In the right hands, the bike has blown minds, and Nev Bradshaw even said that it's one of the best bikes he's ever ridden. The thing is already a beast, and we've got so much more to come. Starting with the drag race to end all drag races. Next time, the Yzilla finally takes on the Megalodon. Subscribe to never miss an episode. Thanks as always for watching, guys. My name is Max. This is 999 Laser. Until next time, I'll see you at the track.